Hey, everybody. Welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. It's lucky week number 13 of the 2018 racing season. It finds us in the land of gumbo and crawdads and Mardi Gras. It's the Fairgrounds in New Orleans, Louisiana. They have a stakes pack card for Saturday. It's Louisiana Derby Day. The late, or I guess it's the middle pick four, starts in race number 8. It ends in race 11. All stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. Folks, he's first up. He's our East Coast handicapper. As always, he's joining us from his home in Staten Island, New York. But, Ray Toronto, my map quest indicates we could get to New Orleans from Hot Springs, Arkansas in just a little over 8 hours. So that's food for thought next year, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Getting ready for the Triple Crown. Excited.
Absolutely. Just a month out, we're a
Yeah.
couple of weeks away from the finale of this train wreck that we're calling the NCAA tournament right now. Hope somebody's got some money on some long shots there. Our West Coast handicapper, he might be joining us. I think he's working his way back from San Diego, if I'm not believe. He usually joins us from his home in Temecula, California. That would be Joe English. Unfortunately, he is not here right now. So you've just got two of the three broke guys handicapping. That's what we had last week. Ray, if this keeps up, we're going to have to retitle the show Two Puerto Rican Guys.
I'm telling you.
Okay. Last week was Oaklawn Racing over there in Hot Springs, Arkansas, which, as you heard, is only 8 hours away from the fairgrounds. We only had two broke guys. It was just me and Ray last week, so we went with a little smaller ticket. They were favorites, but not Bob Baffert ruled the day, and we managed to take down the pick four for just a modest score of $115.50. Yeah, absolutely. Fist bump for Ray. I'll tell you what, folks, Ray Gerardo hit that twice. He doubled up on him. So
I got lucky. I got a scratch. I get the post time favorite one leg, and if he wants, I got two tickets
what do
out
they
of it.
say about the lucky? Better to be lucky than good.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, time for a brief weather update. It's from New Orleans, Louisiana. The forecast for Saturday calls for sunshine and clouds. They're mixed. The high actually is near 80 degrees. There are winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour, excuse me, and a 10% chance of rain. Uh, there's a total of 14 races on this card at Louisiana at the fairgrounds there on Saturday. There are, if I'm not mistaken, 9 stakes on tap for Saturday. We are focused on the pick four. It begins in race number 8 and concludes in race 11. Ray, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick four post time, buddy.
Let's do it. Back to
Race,
back.
yeah, let's do back to back. I love back to back. Race 8. The approximate post time is it's 4:39 p.m. Eastern time. They are going a mile and an eighth on the main track. It's the New Orleans handicap, a grade 2. Purse is $400,000 for 4-year-olds and upward. 6 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 5. It's Good Samaritan, trained by Bill Mott, ridden by Joel Rosario. 8-5 on the Fairgrounds morning line. A little history about the Fairgrounds, folks, and then there's a lot of history about the Fairgrounds, folks. As early as 1839, Bernard de Marigny, Julius Branch, and Henry Augustine Taylor organized races at the Louisiana race course, which is laid out on Gentilly Road, making it the second oldest site of horse racing in America that's still in operation. I don't even know where Freehold Racing is. And this was actually before Saratoga even opened. Anybody, if you are a fan of the game, and if you're watching this podcast, you're a fan of the game, at least just once, Wikipedia Fairgrounds Racecourse. There is so much history that I could literally talk for an entire hour, but I don't want to because I want to hear who Ray likes in the New Orleans handicap.
All right. This is a pretty decent race here. We have the grade two. Um. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of siding with the five, Good Samaritan. I know he's coming off a layoff from November, but he's been racing. He raced in probably as a 3-year-old in some of the toughest races that you can have. I mean, you get the Travers, the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and the Clock, and he hanged there. And I know he came out in the Jim Dandy, And I remember this race. It was the first time he was on dirt, and he went off. As you could see, 8-1, and he just blew that field away. And you see him coming in third. He passed all his dreaming like he was standing still, and he really made an impact in that. And it was one of those races where I remember I said, "Wow." So I think he's gonna be a good 4-year-old, and I'm gonna give him a chance here coming up the layoff. He could be fresh. He's been working very well, and the player should be on the lead. If he can't repeat his last race, um, the good Smiler will be there. You get the class edge, I think, of this field. He can see a nice trip, and Rosario may have to play the role of the player's shadow, and not let him get away. So if he can do that, I think he's gonna be pretty tough to beat. I do like took a long shot here. Number two, Hollywood Handsome.
You were thinking of
I'm
me when you handicapped this horse.
yeah. Oh yeah. Hollywood Handsome. There you go. I love to be in Hollywood right now. Um, and yeah, he ran a nice race last time. He was optional claiming, and he used all those optional claiming. He ran a decent race. I like the traction of Jose Ortiz, and he could give him a few lengths. Move him up a few lengths. He likes the track. He's 3 out of 5 of the money or with a win. And 15-1, I'll take a chance. Dallas still is a good trainer, and they're hitting well together. And just one of those things, 15-1. Jose Ortiz coming up, and just, he could surprise in this race. I do like the player also. I have to clear my ticket. He's doing the speed of the race. Uh, a repeat of the mine shaft makes him very tough here. And kind of, and sometimes you may want to go with the non-repeat theory that can he repeat the same race? A lot of horses, usually don't, and so he's a little vulnerable for me, but I still gotta respect him for his speed and the way he can just run on a slow pace and then finish out strong. So he'll be on my ticket. So for me, I'll go with the 5, 2, and 1 for the no limits handicap. How about you, Rich?
Yeah, you know what? You focused on the word there at the very end. That was critical for me when I handicapped this race. And folks, when I come back, I'll show you. I'm wearing my handicapping hat tonight,
Hmm.
so I will tell you that I am kind of occupying both roles. I guess I'll say until Joe gets here. So I'm doing some of my handicapping analysis more or less tonight, not just the hosting duties. And Ray focused on that word speed. I didn't see a whole lot. It's not a deep field. There's only 6 horses that are in here. A lot of them are the closers, and it looked to me like the player could, in fact, be controlling speed. I'm not a huge Calvin Borrell fan, but I will tell you at the fairgrounds, he's deadly. He owns this racetrack. He's got a horse that's right there on the rail, and they don't call him Calvin Borrell for nothing. As you see there, that's exactly what the horse did in the last race, the mine shaft. You might have noticed me and Ray eschewed one of our normal handicapping tactics. Nobody talked about handicapping the back page first. I won't see us
Yeah.
doing that a whole lot at fairgrounds here because there's not a whole lot of data to go
One.
on here. A total
That's
of one
right.
race. And so you really couldn't see it there. I did notice that our old friend here, Leo Frick, who scratched out on us last week after being one of our top selections, follows us from Hot Springs. He makes that 8-hour trip, Ray, and goes down to fairgrounds. I couldn't help but wonder, is he trying to tell us something?
Yeah. Mhm.
His speed numbers look a little light here. Again, Brad Cox, one of the better trainers here at the fairgrounds. Look who he gets to come along for a ride, Javier Castellano. You can't be, too
Mr.
upset
One.
with that.
Mhm.
Um, this potentially has a tough race written all over it. I like the fact that Joe or Ray, you've already mentioned Good Samaritan here. Windstar Farm is the China Horse Racing Club I mentioned in there as well. He's hit against all the best. He's actually won against the best as well, as Ray mentioned. He beat Always Dreaming. That's the horse that's. I didn't get that highlight down here. I dropped off my page real quick, but All String is Always Dreaming down there. So the Kentucky Derby finished third behind Good Samaritan, Jim Dandy. And so I ended up going with the 1 and the 5. And I'll tell you, I'm debating with myself on some of the other races still at this point in time. I do like the 6 here. I do like Leo Frick with Javier Castellano or Brad Cox. I'm going to, for the 3 broke guys ticket, I'm going to go ahead and just stick with the 2 choices. I'll take the favorite. I can't toss the favorite in this race, but I really do like the player as controlling speed, and that's my top pick. So I'm going 1-5. I will let you know the 3rd broke guy did send us his picks, and so we have Joe English can play along with us tonight. And Joe singled the 1 here, so Joe is actually on the player and only the player. And Ray, has got the 5, he's got the 1, he's got the 2, and I will come back and I will show you my ultra cool Breeders' Cup hat from last year in 2017 when me and Ray and Joe all got to run the Breeders' Cup there in Del Monte. It's one of my favorite hats. I absolutely never wear it. I'll share with anybody. The cardboard is still on the inside of this thing pressing against my
Mm.
foot.
You might convince me on the six there too, so I might throw him in there too.
Yeah, like I said, Ray, I had as I
Got
looked at that, I
coverage.
couldn't help it. I'm like, he was there last week, and I couldn't help it
Yeah,
to think that if he had our cell phone numbers, he might send us a text and be like, Rich, Ray, I'm going with you guys.
yeah, yeah. You're right. Yep. So,
So we're going to move along here to race number 9. And race number 9 is going a mile and an eighth. It is on the turf. It's the Muniz Memorial Handicap. A Grade 2 purse is $300,000 for 4-year-olds and upward. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 1, Synchrony, trained by Michael Stidham and ridden by Jersey Joe Bravo. A 7-2 favorite on the Fairgrounds morning line. The race was formerly known as the Explosive Bid Handicap, but was renamed for the 2004 edition to honor Mervyn R. Muniz. He was the longtime racing secretary here at the Fairgrounds Racecourse. Unfortunately, he died back in 2003. Rest in peace, Mr. Muniz. It sounds like you were a very fond figure there at the Fairgrounds. They actually named a race after you. You know what, Ray? I'll go ahead and start here. I'll go first. And just before I get going, I want to let everybody know we basically handicapped the same tracks year in, year out. This is the third year for Three Broke Guys handicapping. And that last year's show, I had to watch it to make sure I was sure on this one. We bet this race. We hit this race. And the winner, Take the Stand, he set the track record. So here we go. And I will give you my little close up analysis here on the Muniz. Let me start sharing my screen. And I'm going to take the tough race of all that. So just to show you that there's no cowards here on Three Broke Guys, because this race gave me fits. Um, and I think I was not alone. I ended up settling, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to pronounce this horse's name. I'm going back to that same angle I had a couple of weeks ago over at Aqueduct at the Big A by you, Ray, when I bet Entice. So this is Kieran McLaughlin. He is the Godolphin trainer of choice here in the United States. And this is his horse, and I believe the name is Laculin. He is a 4-year-old. He comes out of Hard Spun, one of my favorite sires. If you look there, that last 5 races that he has run, he has had exactly 1/3. He's got 3 firsts in there, and he's got a second by a nose. So the horse is very solid. He kind of is moving up in class, back to the old Three Broke Guys angle. But if you like, as far as class and moving up in class, that's because of that last race being a non-winners of 2. But if you look back here, finished by a nose, that's Yoshida. And that's a Chad Brown turf horse right there, bricks and mortar, who I've liked for quite a while. And things like that. So this is a serious Godolphin animal, Kieran McLaughlin. And look who he attracts to ride. Oh, yeah, just one of everybody's favorite horse jockeys in the world, George Wolf, or as he likes to go by in his real world, Gary Stevens. So I ended up putting my check mark on the 6 here. Just like my friends, though, I ended up spreading. So I did not, I wasn't shy here in this race. I couldn't toss the favorite. I wanted to, but I didn't get Synchrony out of there. Michael Stidham and Jersey Joe Rado is a very good combination. Horse has a very similar pattern to Laculin. And you'll see that actually for a few horses here. Last 4 races, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, one of those by a half, and that was to Ascendancy. So the horse is very solid as well. I do not want to steal all of my friends' thunders here. So the 6 and the 1 are my top 2 choices, really. I will let you know that I hit the 8 through 11 button. I don't know if they have that button yet, but I'm advocating for that kind of a button there on the betting machine somewhere. I just need one that gives me like 4 horses in a row. So I did take Ring Weekend, Revved Up, Forge, and Mr. Misunderstood, just because I thought this race was that tough. And there's a few horses, there are a few races down there that I think I can really get by. So I went 1, 6, and then 8 through 11. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Mr. Torado.
well, you're right. And this is keynote time.
Yeah, I thought of you as I handicapped this one.
In this race, I don't have a favorite choice. I'm going from the rail out. So I'm starting number 1, Synchrony. He's gonna be on my ticket. Fairgrounds winner the handicap race last time. He's 2 for 2. He closed to a fast pace around the mile mark, and he one joint away by being wide. And they're hitting through the wall together. Stidham and Bravo, 17%. So he'll be my ticket. I hope he gets the same run as last time. Um, Number four, Arklow, Castellano, Brad Cox. You know, I hate to get beat by Castellano, so he's
Mhm.
10-1. But Brad Cox has him here. He won the American Turf. He beat Good Samaritan actually on the turf the last time, last year. And he had a few hard races, the Belmont Derby and Hall of Fame. But you gotta respect him. He had a good, nice little race there. The first race out this year after claiming race, he closed, won by a nose. That could give him some confidence. Uh, he was in that kind of condition and nines ones of two. So he fits here in the grade two. He stepped up a little bit, but all three broke guys angle. Brad Cox is 27% for the year, so he knows how to train. He could get some
Mhm.
winners out there. That's still 1 out of 4. So um, then number six also Luke Helen. I like him. Gary Stevens, Godolphin. Yeah, they're doing well now. They had enticed over there. And he's a hard knocking horse. He's very consistent. He got 6 out of 7 in the money, 3 wins. And Gary Stevens picked up about he's 19% on turf, and you gotta respect that. So and then I hit the same thing, 8 to 11. It's in the third, Forge, Revved Up, and Ring Weekend. So we got all of them. We're going 7 deep here because this is how tough our race this is. So all right, Rich, back to you. I'm done.
Yeah, and,
This
and, to
race.
sh- and to show you that we don't even need to have all three broke guys here for us to all be on the same page, I will share with you that Mr. English went one, and then Joe just said, "Heck, I'm not even going to mess around with what Rich Ray did." He went 6 through 11, so he's got
Mm,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
uh,
11. So I
so
went one,
it's a
6,
tough
8,
race.
11. Ray went 1, 4, 6, 8, 11, and Joe went 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Mm.
And I'm coming back because that's a Keno machine. And we're going to need to pare it down if we're going to keep all those horses. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you on a Friday night. This is so nice to be in the really, really hot on the Derby trail here. And I will tell you that we are going to go ahead and move along to race number 10. And since we're talking about the Derby, might as well talk about the Oaks. It's one of the big prep races for the Kentucky Oaks. It is a mile and a 16th on the main track, race number 10, the twinspires.com Fairground Oaks. Grade 2 purses $400,000 for filly 3-year-olds only. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite at 5 to 2 is in post number 1, Classy Act, trained by Brett Calhoun and ridden by Javier Castellano. The race was inaugurated in 1966. It was first graded in 1982 and was run as a grade 3 from 82 to 2000. In the year 2000, the race was upgraded to a grade 2, and the race has produced numerous Kentucky Derby Oaks winners. I didn't really know many of these names, Joe. I do see a Shadow in there. I see Summerly in there. And I see one of my favorites of all time because she was just so classy, Rachel Alexandra. So, but what do you think? We're going to see another Rachel Alexandra this year in the twinspires.com Fairgrounds Oaks.
Oh, she was good.
Oh, God.
Well, probably not, but
Yeah.
there's a few horses here that could step up and really do well this year. I'm gonna have a single here. Number one, Classy Act. This horse got some good speed. She's one for two at the fairgrounds. She won the Rachel. I mean, no, she's second in the Rachel Alexandra to a horse called Menominee Girl, who's odds on. So I mean, actually, in this race, every horse who ran in the Rachel Alexandra last time is here, except Menominee Girl. So the one coming second, Classy Act. So I put her on top. She coming second, 7-1. She had good speed, and she just got beat. She held on for second. No disgrace there. She should improve off of that. And Castellano gets the mount with Calhoun, and um, she should do very well here.
Those
This
pace numbers,
single,
man.
she's 1 for 2,
She can
and her speed
fly.
figures are improving, and I think she's gonna do well. So she'll be my single. I just want to mention another horse that kind of intrigued me would be testing 1-2, 10-1 with Diego Cienes. Uh, his horse looks like a sprinter, but Delta Downs is around the track, so that you go around there a couple of times, and even if it's short, you got a few turns there. So this horse is used to turns, and she had a couple of nice races, by open lengths. And the last race, she was in the hunt, and just tied a little bit, and she might improve. So at 10-1, it's worth a shot. Just mention. But my ticket, I'd be signaling the one because I've gotten already deep in the other legs, and so just want to mention the seven for you. So for me, it'd be one. Rich.
I'm just going to note that if the 5 horse knocks me out of the pick 4 on Saturday, I'm going to be really ticked off. So not that a horse is called Patrona Margarita.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? So, I'm not going to argue with you on your one there as far as the singles concerned. I kind of have a little bit of a crush on this one right here. I'm a big, Wonder Woman. I love Wonder Godot. She finished third in that last race. She was 3 wide into the turns at Fairgrounds, so that could have been against her. She had a 4 wide coming in the lane. Obviously, you're not going to blame the rider because look who that rider is. But even the riders are due for a little bit of forgiveness every once in a while here on our show. So you can see there, Wonder Godot. She's been the favorite in just about every single time she's ever set foot on the racetrack. She's not so bad. 3 for 7, 6 out of 7 in the money lifetime. She's owned by Gary Barber. That's one of the top owners here in the game. And again, you're getting Mark Casse and John Velazquez. And oh yeah, by the way, look how they hook up together. And I know that's not a huge sample, but obviously that's a nice combination to see there. And so I like Wonder Godot here. I'm a big Wonder Woman fan, so I love that movie. And Gabby Godot is such a beautiful woman. I'm not going to toss out Rays. I can't leave Classy Act out. Javier Castellano in the inside lane. Brett Calhoun, we've already discussed. We've discussed Brad Cox already. Brett Calhoun, also a very good Fairgrounds trainer. You see there, he's hitting 20% in 2017, 2018, 16% so far here at the meet at Fairgrounds. Again, the which draws Javier Castellano. That's got to be a good thing. And oh my God, look at those early pace numbers for this horse. So you want to talk about the controlling speed. This is going to be the horse that's going to be up there. You're going to have to come get her. So I went 8-1. Ray just went 1. And
no, actually, no. I have a question. I'm sorry. I had a horse on the second page. Number 5, Patrona Margarita.
So Ray's going to bail me out of my hangover.
Yeah. First race this year, she ran well. And
I thought so.
I know she was in the race, 4th by 3. Showed a little fight, but I think she'll improve off of that. She looks like a 2-turn racer. She's a great stage winner. The Pocahontas. So yeah, I did have this horse 5. I'm sorry.
All
1
right.
and 5 for me.
1-5 for Ray. You got 1. Yeah. You got 8-1 for Rich.
Second page.
I will let you know that Joe went with the 1 as well. He likes it, and he also included the 9. He's in there for one of my wife's favorite drinks, chocolate martini.
Chocolate martini, yeah.
All right, there you go. We each get 2 picks in there, and I'm going to go ahead and come on back. All righty, and we are going to move along to the finale. And this is the feature race of the day. It's the reason that we're in New Orleans. And God, wouldn't it be nice if we could go to New Orleans next year, right? Race number 11. They are going 1 1/8 miles on the main track. How about a little love for twinspires.com? Huh? That is Ray and I happen to know that's Ray and I's gambling platform of choice. Both got TVG accounts, but we spend a lot of time on twinspires.com. I have been a Twinspires customer since the very, very beginning. Came over back in the early part of the 21st century. And I rely on them. I had a funny story to tell about twinspires.com. I had to call them for something, and they asked me for my login ID and password. I had no idea what it was because I can log in with my ID and password without even thinking about it. It'd be kind of like asking me how I brush my teeth. I'm just not sure exactly how I do it. I just get in there. All right. 1 1/8 miles on the main track. It is the twinspires.com Louisiana Derby. It's a grade 2, which is a shame. Purse is $1 million. It's for 3-year-olds only. Folks, fasten your seatbelts, your chairs in a straight back position, and turn off your electronic devices because the big point races for this year's Kentucky Derby have arrived. 100 points to the winner of the Louisiana Derby. Heck,
Oh,
you get 40 points for second.
hmm.
10 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 9. My boy Jack, trained by Keith DeSormo and ridden by his brother Kent, 5-2 on the Fairgrounds morning line. In one way or another, they've been running this race since 1894 when it was called the Crescent City Handicap. But it was in 2016, right here on this weekly show, this podcast, where this handicapper first saw and kind of started to fall in love with a horse named Gunrunner. It turned out to be a very profitable crush for me. So, Ray, I know you remember when, because you were here with me when I started to fall in love with that horse.
Gun
I'm going to let you
runner.
go first, man. Who do you like in the finale here? It's the feature, it's the Derby.
Well, first of all, I mentioned Twin Spires, and I love them for their free Brisnet PPs if you bet the card. So make sure you get the PPs and you make sure you bet with $3.
Absolutely.
So you get the free PPs. It has saved me a lot of money.
It has. And it's
Uh,
turned me into a Brisnet form player for the
oh
rest of my
yeah,
life.
all over the country. You just get the card, bet a few dollars, have a good time. This race, well, we have a couple of horses here coming back for the Risen Star. I kind of lean on the Pletcher horses here. Number 2, Noble Indy, and this horse has a speed. And if you notice, again, the back page, the speed does well. I mean, they have only one race, but 100%. No
They're
sample.
perfect.
I don't know how they do that. You must have a lot of splits there. But Noble Indy's a good horse. He broke his maiden in some good time, 122 for 7. And that's racehorse time. And he's progressed into two-turn horse. He won last time, the second time out in the absolute claim race, which was actually a 9 wins of 1, just protecting the horse. But in the Risen Star, I think what probably it looks like he bumped at the brake,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't
You
get
got stuck.
that clean, crisp trip he wanted to get. But he still finished third, and no disgrace to him. The other two horses, Rivaldo and Snapper Sinclair, were in the race. So he finished third, still earned a good figure. And Pletcher puts blinkers on him, and anytime Pletcher makes a move like this on a stake race, you really have to respect it. He's probably been working out with the blinkers, and he's been improving his time. So we're gonna go for it. He's going 9 furlongs. Speed does pretty well if you get a good pace, but it can also fall apart if you get too fast a pace. So he's got his main man Johnny Velasquez on, who's a great pace rider. He's got a clock in his head, I tell you. And I like Johnny V on the lead on the horse. And I think he's gonna do well in this field and take it home with 7-2. I'll go with the other punch horse too. Number 6, Hindford. Um, this horse had a little slow start. Came out in December, raced on the turf, finished fourth. Then they put him in the main claiming race and he won. But this horse is stepping up a lot big time, and he did win. He second his last race, but he's still against it. But Joe Bravo, right for Pletcher here. Castellano jumps off. And for his last 2 races, Castillon rode last time. But you gotta give this horse a chance. He's out of Street Cry, and they're trying to get the points, get in the Derby. Donegal Racing is notorious for showing up in big races, and I respect that. So I'll take a shot at 8-1. But my main horse will be the number 2, so I'll go 2-6 here. And in this race, there are a few other horses that could have a good shot, but my ticket's already up there from the other uh, legs that I've gone deep in. So for me, I go 2-6, and 100 points is up there. So that'd be one trip to the Derby. Rich,
This was a tough race.
it was
This,
tough. Yeah, it was tough.
yeah,
I
this
wish I
was
could go
this.
deeper. I wish.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I thought this was a race where either you've got a real strong feeling and you're going to single, or
Hmm.
just dig in and start pulling. Fire up race Keno machine and just start putting some numbers in there, because this could be the race that'll pop it. I decided to go with the first strategy and I singled. And believe it or not, I singled away from my man Todd Pletcher here, who's got a pair. I'm not even. It's not even like I'm going to split my kings. I'm not even going to use my kings at all, Ray. I'm just going to leave them sitting on the table. I'm not going to use my speed horses that are right on the inside. I couldn't believe it. I'm not playing Gary Stevens from the post with D. Wayne Lucas of all things and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what? As long as I'm in New Orleans, as long as we are down in Cajun country, why not just go with those Cajun brothers from California and pick up on Keith and Kent DeSormo and my boy Jack. And I'm actually playing it for more than that reason. I like the horse as well. Obviously, this goes back to my fondness for the California horses. This horse was originally intended to be somebody on the turf. So that was where he was. It looks like at the beginning of this year or sometime after the Breeders' Cup, when he finished within 3 lengths of Mendelssohn, who was a beast in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. You see that he lost his whip in that race. Somebody must have said, hey, you know what? What if we could get on the Kentucky Derby Trail? We've got a creative cause here. By Giants Causeway, the fire over wall, and let's give it a shot on the dirt. And they must have seen something in that sham race that was behind McKinsey and All Out Blitz. All Out Blitz is going to be going on Sunday in the Sunland Derby. That's McKinsey, who is, in my opinion, the top-ranked Derby horse going right now. And you see there, my boy Jack in a 6-horse race. He finished halfway up the field, about 7.5 lengths off, and then came back and destroyed everybody in the Southwest there at Oakland Park. Maybe DeSormo decided to stay away from the competition, knowing that Baffert was going to be bringing his contingent in for the Arkansas Derby, or maybe DeSormo just had their minds on $1 million purse here in Louisiana. However you want to look at it, I thought that DeSormos really have, the right mindset here after having won the Southwest in such impressive fashion. It was on a little bit of a muddy racetrack that day. I'm not going to discount the horse's performance too much that day. And the other reason I looked at this was there's a lot of speed in this race. There's a lot of your E and EP types. When you get back down here to the bottom page, if you take a look-see here, it's almost everybody. And there's only a couple of them that are non-pace types. 2 of them, Give Me a Minute, Lone Sailor, don't look like they're major contenders here. The one S type that looks like he could have a play, and going a mile and 1/8, they're going 9 furlongs. We're getting closer to that Derby distance. I thought that my boy Jack might actually be Rich's single on the day. I'll knock a little bit on my desk as I do that. But as Ray mentioned before, I've got a pretty deep going there in the Muniz. I've got a couple of selections each of the other 2 races like that. If I was going to go too deep, if I'm going to use somebody else in this race besides my boy Jack, that's where my head wanted to explode a little bit, because I did like you see here my blue boxes. You see 2, 1, 6, 7, and I'm not even sure if that had everybody. 2, 1. It's got the 6. It's Hinford. Oh, there it is. It's Snapper Sinclair. It's got Steve. I was worried about the Steve Ausmussen, Jose Ortiz horse. This horse is, looking like he is in absolutely great form. Has got a lot of early pace type, and has got Jose Ortiz aboard. There's a lot to like there. And in the end, if I was going to use a second one, I would probably go the way that Ray did, and I'd end up using the Fletcher and go with Noble Indy. He did have a bit of a rough trip that last time in that Wisdom Star. I was able to watch that one, and not only did he get bumped at the break, which kind of threw him off stride, obviously, and the problems that causes for a horse like that, but he was stuck. The race caller actually talked about it. Even coming into the back stretch, it seemed like he was still stuck and couldn't get off that rail. So, expect a better ride or a better performance out of Johnny Velasquez. And so I would go 9 as my single, and maybe halfway down my line put the 2 in there. And I've got Ray. Ray's got the 2, and he's also got the 6. And I will let you know that Mr. English sent us his picks for this one. He actually likes the 1. He's got Bravazzo in there, and he also likes the 6, which is Heinford. So he split his Fletcher as well. 2, 9, or 9, I should say 9 single for me, and then 1, 6 for Joe, 2, 6 for Ray. I will go ahead and come back, and we'll go ahead and put the ticket to bed. Ta-da!
Yeah, it should be grade 1. Should be.
It really should be. I looked at that. We were having some grade discussions last week and things like that, and I can't help but feel it's a shame for some of these tracks where they offer $1 million purse. They get some grade 1 fields from the South. This is an absolutely fantastic field from the South area and things like that. And it's at it's at the fairgrounds. that's the best of the tracks. That's I don't know what the Delta Downs people finding me here, but that's the better of the tracks that's there in Louisiana, and this is right around their Mardi Gras time. It certainly seems like it's eligible for grade 1. All right, I will come on back to you guys, and let me go ahead and pop open here, and you can watch as we put together our pick 4 ticket. Even though we're missing one of the broke guys, we can go ahead and do this. Everyone. And I will let you know that Ray is still showing up here in Carolina Blue. I apologize, Ray. I know the Tar Heels are gone. Both of our brackets look like bloodbath. Joe here is in.
Joe.
Yeah, okay. And Joe here is listed in the black type. Joe's not on the show tonight, but he's here with us in spirit, so he's in the black type. And on the bottom, I will probably proclaim myself. I am in Texas Tech Raider Red. Right? My Red Raiders are going on to the Elite Eight to take on Villanova. So that's exactly behind what we're doing this show. I will update our date here for you so I get the right date for you. 24. And we'll go ahead and put our ticket together. So I think that first race we can all safely say we like the 1. And Ray, I see you've got the 2 in there. We'll go ahead and put the 5 in for right now. Or I'm sorry, we'll put the 2 in for right now. The 5 is a definite in. So 1 and 5 was both of us. And Joe actually singled here. All right. Ay. Mr. English might not be here, but in spirit, he actually intimated that he was willing to go with the all button in this particular race. And really, to be honest with you, he didn't go that far from anyway. He went all minus 3, 4, 5. So if I see consensus here, I do see the 1 on all of our tickets. I do see the 6 on all of our tickets. And I think I see 8 through 11 on all of our tickets. And 8 through 11. It was 5 picks in that race. Well, look at that. I didn't even put down my pick in here. Oh, that's me. I'm sorry. That's 1 ticket there. 6, 8 through 11. All right. And here, Ray, I've got you the 1, and Joe with the 1-9, and me with the 8-1. There's all 3 of our picks there. And in the finale, I definitely see that Joe's got the 1 as his top pick. Got the 2 as your top pick. I have the 9 as my top pick. Mine actually looks like this. Let's see. 1, 2. You and Joe both have the 6. That one on there. And that's what it looks like. So 4 times 3 is 12. Times 3 is 36. Times 5, unfortunately, is 180. And that's usually a little bit higher than our ticket is, like a $90 ticket. Let's see here. Here, it's down anywhere. 1, 6, 2, 6, 9. That actually looks right. Your top in the last race, your top pick is the 2, and the 6 is your backup. Joe's got the 1 and the 6, and I just had the 9 in there. As you see, the 1 and the 6 are on mine, or the 1, 2, and the 6 all would have been in mine as well. If I could have gone there, probably had 5. So 1, 2, 6, 9. In this leg, I've got Wonder Godot as my top pick, and then I think you guys have both got the 8 and the 1 as your top pick, and then Joe's got the 9 as well. So that might be one of our, let's see. Yeah. I think 1, 6, 8 to 11 about the best we could do as far as consensus in that race. 1, 5, 2. So let's see, 3 times 3 is 9.
It's that type of pick for us. Yeah, it's pretty well.
Yeah.
There's no really it's gonna pay good.
Regardless,
I think, because it's
Well, this one is 60. So we can do this one. So yeah, 3 times. Let's see.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. 2 times 5 in the central leg gives us 10. Times 3 is 30. Times 4 is 120 options, 50 cents, $60. So 152 with 1, 6, 8 to 11.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that's about the best we can do there. 1, 8.
We'll discuss on Mr. English, and we'll see tomorrow. We'll put it in.
Yeah, exactly. You never know with a scratch. You never know with any kind of defection.
Right.
And then we go 1, 2, 6, 9 in that finale. Again, that's giving us all three of our top picks. And that gives us also the 6, which I think is your guys' both your secondaries. So for those of you who are watching along, that's actually how we do it here on Three Broke Guys. I'll go ahead and turn these numbers green, and you'll see it in our Twitter feed tomorrow. When we go ahead, actually, you might even see it tonight. I've got a little bit of a family thing that I'm doing tomorrow. Those of you who are going for the March for Your Lives, thank you very, very much. That's well. Go into the greens. We've got 152 with 1, 6, 8 through 11 with 1, 8 with 1, 2, 6, 9. $60 pick 4 for the Fairgrounds for the Three Broke Guys. And I will go ahead and come back and we can go ahead and wrap this up for you. Always goes so fast on a Friday night, especially when there's only 2 of us, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we miss you, Joe. And,
We do. We miss you, Mr. English.
we'll see you next week, hopefully. Then we'll Florida Derby time.
Absolutely. For
Doing
those
the
of you
Gulf
watching,
Stream.
there's a little bit of a preview for you, right? If you enjoyed the
Just
show, we're
text
going to be
us.
back next week
Yeah.
because that's what the Three Broke Guys do. We're going to get together and take a look at another exciting card. The Derby Trail is absolutely red hot, and Florida Derby Day called at Gulfstream Racetrack in Florida. Ray, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a
All
pleasure
right.
to handicap with you, buddy.
Always a pleasure. Let's hit it.
As we said, Joe English isn't with us, but for Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.
Have a good night.